Welcome to the My Travel Ball podcast, where we talk with parents, players, coaches, instructors, and organizations about everything related to travel ball. Our mission is to provide useful information, fun insights, and valuable answers to your questions, whether you're just getting started or a veteran of travel sports. This episode, we welcome Sean Yanis and Paul McMullan with EAS Recruiting, a locally owned and operated recruiting service with nationwide reach and an impressive 100% placement percentage. Congratulations on that number.
Thank
So
you.
good
Thank you for
morning,
having us.
guys, and really appreciate you being here with us. I know we had some technical difficulties previously, but thanks for joining us again this morning and trying this again, and look forward to you sharing some great information with our listeners.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
So Sean, do me a favor, if you can, kind of take us briefly through the history of Empowered Analytic Sports Recruiting. Why'd you get into it? How'd you get into it? And a little bit of a background on that.
Yeah. Kind of got into it by accident. In 2017, 2018, I was a travel ball coach, Team Georgia, Atlanta Vipers, some of the bigger organizations here in Atlanta. And my daughter was a freshman in high school. And it was at tournaments and recruiters, which were new to me. An old school guy, came through, graduated in 93 from high school down in South Florida. Recruiters were really swarming me, texting me, calling me, coming at me at parks and saying, your daughter's going to play Division I softball. I would say, thank you. But how do you know? Like, you've never seen her. You're calling me from a cubicle in Chicago, or you're just walking up with a clipboard. You never even seen her catch a ball. I felt uneasy. Like, I felt like I was getting telemarketed.
Mhm.
So I just said, thank you. I got this. She's 14 years old. She's 5'2", 100 pounds. There's nothing about her that says Division I. I said, there's one person, I joke with them, there's one person in America that thinks she can play D1, and you're talking to him because I see the hands and the feet and I see the work ethic, and I know she hasn't hit puberty yet. So I basically just stopped, stay back.
Mhm.
Um, I was a medical sales executive, had built sales teams across the East Coast. I knew what a good resume looks like. I know what good paper looks like. I knew how to communicate. So I just started guiding her like I would one of my Fortune 500 sales reps. Here's your resume, your cover letter, send it out, find a list of good schools based on education, and go. So she did that, and we got the standard replies. You come to a camp, and it was also very cold and distant. So as I looked more into this, I found that she needed the same thing I needed back in 1993, was a coach that would pick up the phone and make a phone call for
Mhm.
her. I walked from high school without knowing where I was going, and I was good. Ended up at FIU, a D1 school in Miami, because my American Legion coach called Danny Price, the head coach at the time, and said, "This is the guy. Take a look at him."
Mhm.
I was going to Miami-Dade to play for Charlie Green, a legendary JUCO, because that's what we did back then, right? So I learned kind of the hard way through my own kid how this process had changed. We started doing it in our travel ball team, just guiding kids.
Mhm.
There was the other coach there was another executive, so he and I had an executive level background. We knew what good looks like and how to communicate, and we just hustled for the kids.
Right.
Um, Long short of it, over about 20 kids in the 20 and 21 class ended up getting scholarships or opportunities to play college softball. So we knew what we were doing was working.
Mhm.
Um, my daughter committed to Georgia State here in Atlanta, great business school, local. She didn't want to go far away from home. She loved the coaches. And when they committed her, they called me and said, Sean, your daughter's the best communicator we've ever worked with in our 20 plus years.
Remember
So
you
I kind of knew
saying
I knew we were on to something, right? Because Emma's dynamic, she's great, but she wasn't the best communicator at that age. She was
that. Right.
a typical 16, 17-year-old. So this company kind of started by accident. I never dreamt I
Mhm.
would turn it into a business. During COVID, my for work, I got grounded. I couldn't fly. I couldn't get into a hospital, but we had a device for vets that was drop shipping to their house. So business was
Mhm.
really good. And for a year, I sat at home. I joke making more money than I've ever made. So I put some money aside and started building this just to see what would happen.
Right.
And the market kind of found me. We did so well so quickly, and I just fell in love with it. You'll probably see it. This is the passion for me.
Yeah.
So I resigned after a 20-year career of doing med devices and started doing this full time in August of 21. So right at 4 years.
That's fantastic because a couple of points that you touched on there is one, obviously the numbers game that some of the bigger companies will play in terms of just churning numbers and sign up as many people as they can and going through that process. But then you also taught your daughter and some of these other kids, you've taught some life skills, and you've taught them the ability to kind of be an advocate for themselves. You've taught them how to be an advocate for themselves. You taught them how to kind of pitch themselves in a situation. So regardless of what happens with sports, they're going to be able to handle that in the future as well. I think that's fantastic. You've added some traits there that are great.
Yeah, absolutely. We named the company Empowered Analytic Sports, and to empower, and I tell kids all the time, Coach Sean, Coach Paul, our story's done. We
Right.
played. We've already been empowered. This is to empower you. And I'll
Right.
tell the parents, you might be the one working their dashboard from behind the scenes. If that's what you elect to do, by all means, that's on you guys. But if you allow them to be empowered, to get some no's, because you're going to get told no, to get your nose bloodied a little bit, it's okay.
Right.
Life's not going to end. It's going to help you get out the other side. Um, as this past year has been really eye opening for me because my daughter, that little freshman, has now just graduated college at Presbyterian College, so she's come out the other side, and the game has kicked her ass.
Hmm.
And that's good. I allowed it to. Like
Yeah.
she was never a big bat. She was just that grinder kid that you couldn't keep out of the lineup because of her glove and work ethic and all those things. Graduated as an academic All-American. She's now going into med sales and is going to absolutely kill it because of the process,
Right.
because of what she went through. And we let it happen. So yeah, it's I call those dinner table conversations. You guys have those. You
Yeah.
elect to have this go however you want it, but if you let it, this process is going to help fortify that kid.
So you talked a little bit about kind of what that looked like previously back to also your background. I tell you, mine's a little bit deeper and longer, than that. But same kind of thing happened where I had a high school and travel coach that I played for. He was the advocate for me at a JUCO here locally, and I played for Tommy Barber at DeKalb North to do that, and that was based on a phone call and doing that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
those are kind of some of the ways that went through there, and those kind of processes still carry over. But now that we've kind of seen that evolve, what do you also see moving forward with the recruiting game? Do you have any thoughts there in terms of where this is going?
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had a crystal ball to know
Yeah.
exactly where it's going. It's so dynamic, it's changing daily. Um, I embrace the change because being a business guy, I mean, things are going to happen. Change is good for our business because there's a lot of confused families out there and kids that don't
Mhm.
have no idea what's next. The biggest change, obviously, has been the transfer portal. Because
Yeah.
when we started this, 6, 7 years ago, really for full time, there was no portal yet.
Right.
So now it's about educating kids and families about where Johnny stacks up against the mid major that has 400 college at bats is an all conference kid who's 22 years old with forearms the size of Johnny's size that
Hmm.
now it has been away from mama's cooking, has gotten up for class. Those coaches are recruiting in the portal,
Yeah.
especially at the higher levels, way more than they are the high school kids. So we have to kind of recalibrate the
Hmm.
kids and expectations. There's still plenty that come right out of high school into college, D1 even, but because everybody's shooting for that D1, but it's helping them educate them that JUCO like us or NAIA or D2, D3, there's a level for everybody to play at. We didn't
Hmm.
touch on this, but we have 100% placement with almost 400 kids.
Yeah.
That's hard to do because there's somewhere to play for everybody. If you're undersized, go get on the field somewhere. You got to go
Yep.
where you can play, and then use the portal to your advantage. Which I hate as an old school preservist. I don't like the portal, but it is what it is.
It's there.
It's not going anywhere.
Not go anywhere.
So
No.
so the coaches use it. The players should use it too.
Exactly right. Yeah, and kind of teaching them how to navigate that process is going to be key, and it's going to, like you said, it's going to keep changing. It's going to keep evolving as we go along, and kids and families are going to need to know how
Yeah.
best to use it to their advantage. It's going to be different for everybody too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're learning kind of the seasonality of this, and that's changing too. But like starting April, May, my phone starts ringing and it's JUCO. It's JUCO kids whose coaches aren't helping them get to the next stop, or they had coaching changes or whatever. As May starts to happen, it's usually dad calling, "Hey, Johnny's going to go in the portal." We had 23 transfers from April through the end of July. That and we placed 23 of them. We placed all 23, which is unheard of. The JUCO rates, the transfer portal rates, you're probably at about 40 or 50% to find the new spot. So what happens is other 50% are now clogging up the system. They're going to grad year programs, they're dropping down 2 and 3 levels to a JUCO and NAIA. And that's where the high school kid coming out is struggling to find their fit because they're tripping over bodies. Um,
It,
I always
it,
joke, like when you and I played, and with Paul, when we played, the game told you when it was time to go. The game told you where you belong. It still
yep,
does, but there's so many options now to continue.
right.
So yeah, I think there's more supply and demand. There's way more supply than demand.
Yeah, there's a ton of opportunities, and you're talking a little bit about on the those kids in the portal. But help some of the families that will be listening to this as well. What time does that typically get started? When should you start in the high school realm? Is that 28s? Is that freshman, sophomore? Is that prior to that? Is that a little bit later than that? What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
it depends on the sport, depends on the talent level. I mean, if you're a 5'3", trying to get my years right, 2029, I'll
Hmm.
probably tell you no, or I'll be very upfront. You can be in our Rising Stars program. We'll help guide you how to create your social media, how to put yourself out there. But
Hmm.
we bucket kids into you're either farming or you're hunting. And the farmers are the kids that are the younger ones that aren't quite ready. But
Right.
honestly, we still have juniors that are farming because physically they're not there yet.
Yep.
So it's planting seeds. And this has been really cool with a couple kids that have been with us for a year and they're going into senior year. They're 26s. And they're exploding right now because
Hmm.
he's gotten stronger. He's added 4 or 5 miles to his fastball. Now all of a sudden we were looking at D3s. He was at a couple D1 camps these
Yep.
past 2 weekends because he's an 88, 89 guy. The game's showing him where he belongs because all the front end work that we did in farming properly. Now people know him. They
Right.
knew him before. As we're talking to coaches, it's, hey, this kid's not ready yet, but he's working with guys that I've seen take kids 4 or 5 miles. I basically Nostradamus what was about to happen, and it's happening. It earns us more respect with the coaches. Obviously, like these recruiters know what they're
Hmm.
doing, but the kid, they're vested in the kid because he's a good student, and they've been watching him develop in front of
Right.
their very eyes.
Well, so it's great information and very helpful. I agree with you because you never know when a kid's going to kind of blossom and hit that that light switch turns on for them
Yeah,
either as a player, ball player, their baseball IQ kicks in and they know how to do it, or physically it matches up. So you guys have got 100% placement at this point, which is fantastic. It's unbelievable. It helped kind of take parents through your process, and I know that involves some of the stuff that Paul does as well.
yeah.
So take through that process and kind of what you guys are offering and how it works.
Yeah, so the the empowered piece of it is to empower, let's call him Johnny. That once we decide to move forward with mom and dad, and we create Johnny a username, password specific entry into our it's a CRM system, customer relationship management tool. For
Hmm.
us sales guys, I hated it as a sales rep, as a sales director, but
Yeah.
I had it created. It's proprietary, we own it, but I had it created to help these kids guide them through this process. And the process is all over the place. So this tool, where they go in, again, username, password specific, they create it. They put in their own information. They put their list of schools. Now, in the Southeast, everybody wants to play Georgia or Tennessee. Now,
Mhm.
if you're 5'8", throwing 82 miles an hour, you're not ready to play there. So we can help guide them, but everything is tracked through the system. Um, Second word is analytics, and this is where Paul comes in. The analytic is everything from height, weight, GPA, dad's height, mom's height. Did dad play balls? It's all these analytics that aren't just what Perfect Game's doing. We love Perfect Game at PBR because they do a great job helping stamp a kid, but
Mhm.
we get a little bit deeper to help personalize their story. Once they get through the dashboard or the portal fill out, then we bring in Coach Paul. And Paul and I will go out to the field. We were out this weekend with a kid, and we're getting metrics, we're getting analytics. Paul does an excellent job of be specific reels and filming. Um, Paul, you want to talk a little bit about what that day looks like when we get out there and film the kids?
Yeah. Yeah, this time of year it's especially hot. One of the things we dealt with this past weekend. But so aside from being able to tell these kids story after the video's done, it's really their front door into one of the first things the coaches might see. It's also something they can keep and share on their social medias, all those type things. But even beyond just our going on the field and doing the skills video, we also go out to fields and we're watching these kids that we're working with. We're continuing to film them in their games, so we get to use all those videos to provide them, but also help in their recruiting process as well. And all those pieces end up ultimately telling a story. But from start to finish, it's tough for these kids. Pitchers they're in season a lot of times, so being able to find a time for them to throw, coordinating with their coaches. And what we're finding also, I mean, there's a lot of high schools that you don't know if you're going to pitch day in, day out. There's just no schedule for a lot of these high schools, so they don't know when they're going to be pitching and when they're not. So a lot of times scheduling becomes difficult for those type pitchers. So again, we'll try to get out, film their games, get any kind of footage we can to at least get that video going until we can get a good bullpen.
Are you able to incorporate parent video as well, or other video as well?
Definitely. That's a big question we get is, what's the right angle? What's the right settings on my camera? And we can direct on that, but ultimately it's, hey, go be mom, go be dad. If you want to film your boy or girl hitting, go ahead and do that. Provide me what you can. We digitize make it all look good.
Yeah.
As good as we possibly can for some of the footage we get. But yeah, certainly for highlights, things like that we can add in to showcase what their skills are. We'll
Yeah, I figured you probably run into that because like you said, sometimes you don't know, or they may be scheduled to throw on a Tuesday and they get rained out, and now they get pushed, and now you're not sure when you're going to be able to get back out there for that video or get with them. So I'm sure parents will, be wanting to send it, and I'm sure there's plenty that parents will send. You'll go, yeah, we can't really use that. This isn't what we're going to be using right now.
That's right. Yeah, this past
Yeah,
weekend, I mean, it was probably 110 degrees on that field. So yeah, it's tough for these kids. It's nonstop. It's action.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Okay.
yeah, we joke. Yeah, I said every kid's got mom's cell phone video of you taking a swing, hitting a grainy footage. Looks like
Yeah.
Bigfoot's in the background, right? The ball flies off into the night. The umpire gives the home run salute. Everybody cheers. Like, yes, we can maybe add that, but that's not what a coach needs to see. Everybody has that. They want to
Right.
see side angle view. They want to see behind the back. They want to see if you're pitching.
Yeah.
We go side angle to see his belt. We go over his shoulder. We go umpire view.
Yeah.
They give the coaches different angles, the ones they want to see, and then use those analytics or metrics, as we call them, to match what they do. Um,
Right.
Paul and I are former middles. My daughter's a middle, so we do take. Well, I love when it's a middle because we know the angles they want to see. We show
Yeah.
them around the bag. Everybody
Hmm.
can field a ground ball at second base. We put you at shortstop to see your movements, to see
Yeah.
how you come across, and those are the things that, as coaches talk to me or talk to Paul, they're appreciative of that. Now,
Well, I'd
Paul
say,
has taken our be specific reels, our videos to a whole nother level. Like what he's able to do,
yeah.
it's really solid, which helps
Well,
the consultants.
that was actually the next point I was going to make, or next question I was going to have was, pitching and hitting is relatively not straightforward, but relatively easy. As a coach, you're going to look at, like you said, not only footwork around a bag or footwork getting to, it's also sometimes going to be pre-pitch, as
Yeah,
pitch. You know,
absolutely.
what's the first movement that they make? What's the first reaction that they have? What are they doing on a bad play where they're maybe going to back up, or are they just standing there watching and waiting for the ball to get through the infield and then I react? So it's, between outfielders and infielders, I think there's a ton of information you can glean from that as well. So kudos to you guys for doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and great segue there too, Craig, is prior to our kids going to camps or showcases, we give them a list of things to do. So if you're a
Hmm.
middle, and to that point, prep and hop is one of them. Like you are devouring ground balls. You're not doing lazy body movement. You're moving through every ball like it's game 7 of
Yeah.
the World Series, because that might be the only ground ball you get in the game. You
Right.
might not get one in the game. So in between innings, turn 2.
Yeah.
And it's the little things that, not an indictment on travel ball coaches because they're a big part of this, but a lot of this stuff's getting missed. Not because these guys don't know, it's because they're busy. I mean, usually a
Yeah.
travel ball coach is a dad and a businessman or a firefighter, or he has a career. And
Yeah.
there's so much going on where we focus on this. To have a guy like a Doug Minkavich, who's a buddy of mine, we grew up together. He's down in Coral Shores, down in the Keys. Like, he and I sit down and we barnstorm through this,
Yeah.
where he played at the highest level. He coached the highest level. He knows this stuff cold. So I'm scribbling notes as fast as I can when he's talking, because I learn from everybody around me.
Yep.
I just got off the phone with a pitching coach down in Florida that might be joining us. He just retired, spending time with his family. I just learned from him right as we were coming into this call. Listening to him, I was scribbling down
Yeah.
information. So that's the fun side of this for me, I guess, as a business guy. Is I'm not, I don't know everything. I am a business guy that knows about the game.
Hmm.
I know how to communicate. I know how to help these kids, and then it's teaching life lessons to the athletes.
Yep. It's the same thing. I mean, I think I told you, I mean, I coach a 16U team right now, and that's part of the conversation I've had with all these kids all along is you never know who's watching and at what time. So you
Yep,
need to treat every step you take out there like somebody's paying
absolutely,
attention.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep,
So, well, good stuff. So with that being said, with what you guys offer, kind of give parents an idea, if you can, cost range,
yeah,
and what that looks like, and then also if there's any kind of, if you talk about the savings or the ROI on that.
yeah, sure. Cost is based on grad year. So
Mhm.
we start as a senior, which are 26s now. That's our most expensive profile. Then junior year, so that's $5,000. Junior year would be 4,000, and then if you needed another year, it'd be 1,000. Sophomore is 3, freshman is 2,500. So it's staged. The earlier you get going, where we talked about where we can farm, it
Mhm.
makes it easier on the back end. If you paratroop in senior year saying, "Here I am," and nobody knows you, it's very difficult, which
Yeah.
is why that's the most expensive. Our transfer rate, our JUCO and portal is 4,000 because that's go now. But the thing that allows us to feel comfortable is 100%. If there's one
Mhm.
thing that keeps me up at night, it's 100%, because that can only go one way. Um, I joke, it's not going to go that way on you, Johnny or Sally, because if you're willing to work, we're going to help you and find a place. There
Right.
there is a place for everybody if you're willing to work. Um, and that's been a comfortable piece for us, being able to allow these kids the opportunity to play. From a cost savings perspective, it's really about qualifying. So with us, we talked about showcases and camps. You'll never go to another camp without us having pre-qualified with conversations with the coach. We
Mhm.
don't email coaches. We're texting and talking to them on the phone. We have
Right.
numbers. We have relationships. So and the question is, do you have interest, coach? And do you have a need? Because as a 26, yeah, I got interest in a lefty throwing 85, but I don't have a need.
Right.
And I've got 3 lefties coming in my 26 class. Okay, thank you. Strike them off the list. We
Right.
just saved you $1,000 because mom has to get off work. You got to get a hotel. You got to drive. You got to fly. And then all these kids have been there, mine included. You're sitting there at a camp with a bib on your back. You're number 187, and nobody knows I was here. I'm a shortstop. I got 5 ground balls. I took 20 swings.
Yeah.
Nobody knew I was here. I'm driving
Unless
home
you
with
were
mom.
unless you were top tier, you didn't get
Yeah.
noticed. Yeah.
So all of our kids, they know they're there,
Hmm.
or they're not there because we've already said, you know what, this isn't a good fit. Um, we're not dream killer, but we do have a sense of realization based on the shot clock. If you're a 26, it's different than if you're a 28,
Hmm.
right? That's the biggest value that we bring. I have parent testimonials that have talked about thousands of dollars that they've
Hmm.
saved. And one mom even talked about, we not just did EIS save us money, they saved us time, because
Yep.
my daughter's graduating. We didn't have to go to 100 camps. We found the perfect school early, and she committed because it was her dream school. Now we go on vacation. We going into
Right.
her because we're losing her. She's going to college, maybe never to move back home.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's those stories that certainly help.
That's awesome. I did see some of those testimonials, and you're right. That's being able to provide that custom feel and that custom service and kind of help them through that process is huge. It's why I started what I started with my travel ball. I'm trying to do kind of a similar thing in terms of just helping people understand the processes that they may or may not know, or they think they know, and maybe there's a better way of doing it. And
Yeah.
again, congratulations to you guys for helping so many people that you have so far, and I wish you continued success.
Well,
So
thank you.
kind of in closing, we asked this before, and I'm going to ask obviously how people can get in touch with you, so we can put that in there as well. But what's one other thing that parents don't seem to know about the process that maybe you can help navigate?
Yeah, parents is probably the hardest part is just helping them to understand where their kid belongs. There is that social media aspect of posting on Twitter or Facebook of Johnny's taking his talents to ABC College. It's
Mhm.
really helping them understand the journey. The journey of what I went through, what Paul went through, probably what you went through, Craig, is the game teaches you life lessons.
Mhm.
Go where you can play. Let us help guide you where you can play, but make the fit around academics and logistics and cost and all those things to help make it a great ending. Not just, oh, let's go here because I'm going to go there next year. Let's
Yeah,
go somewhere with the anticipation we're going to stay there, and work through it. That's really the biggest thing.
that's awesome.
We do that. A lot of our conversations are recalibrating expectations, and not in
Mhm.
a bad way. Like I said, we're not, these eyes aren't all knowing. I'm not the end all be all, but we've seen this enough to know kind of where you're heading. And I can't call Tennessee for you if you're throwing 82 miles an hour.
Right.
I can't. Yeah.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
listen, I really appreciate the information and appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys again. I've enjoyed all the times we've spoken already, and I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll speak some more. How can folks get in touch with you?
Yeah, probably the easiest way is go to www.easrecruiting.com. You'll see contact forms all over. I think every page has one. You can click on it. If you say, "How did you hear about us?" you can say through Coach Craig's podcast, give you some props, or to our socials on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X. It's EAS Recruiting. You'll find us.
Okay.
Primarily, it's baseball, softball searches, but we have other sports now as well that we're dabbling in.
Well, that's awesome. Well, listen, guys, again, I really appreciate the time and appreciate the information, and I know the folks will get a lot out of this, and hopefully we can drive some folks your way, and you can help them navigate the process.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thanks again, y'all. Have a good one.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. Yeah.